going on, everybody, and welcome back to Frankie's Aquatics right here on the wonderful platform that is YouTube. Now, I hope you all had a fantastic week. This week has been amazing. I really have had a good time with things this week because things are finally starting to come together. Things have been clicking. My brain never sleeps. It's always axolotls, axolotls, axolotls. It just never stops. And I come up with some really good ideas, and I'm pleased to report that a good fair few of them have actually come to fruition this week. So if you follow me on Instagram, you may have had a little bit of a sneaky peek at this. It hasn't really officially kind of been announced, but I'm doing that right now. So Frankie's Aquatics merchandise is actually a thing. You can actually buy Frankie's Aquatics t-shirts and hoodies, and there'll be other similar things rolling out. Now, this is just little old me doing all this. I'd love to say I've got a secretary or some kind of second left hand, wing hand, whatever sort of, whatever you call them, man. I haven't got any kind of wingmen, it's just me doing all this. So that goes from merchandise to videos to editing to care to everything. I do everything, absolutely everything. It's quite full on, but I love it. I love it. I immerse myself in this and I absolutely love it. So merchandise has been on the cards for a very, very long time. I have just been extra picky as to where to go. There's many people online that will help you. Looks like the axolotl swallowed into my ear then. Now, I've just been really picky about who to use as my provider, shall we say, what platform I was going to use. There's numerous ones out there, and I finally decided to go with everyone's favourite, Teespring. I've gone for this because they offer global shipping directly from my laptop, which is pretty snazzy in itself, and I find that the editing tip. God's sake, Frankie. Let's try again. I find that editing things, still doing I find that editing on there is really simple, it's really straightforward, and I can produce some really good quality t-shirts. And not just t-shirts, hoodies and everything else. Anyway, enough of me waffle. Go over here, I'll put a link down below and go and get yourself some snazzy merchandise. Now, this is still a prototype. I have ordered one. I'm still waiting on it arriving. I was hoping it would be here today, but it isn't. But this is just a prototype, but the new stuff has the logo, and on the back of it, it says, "Do you even swim, bro?" If you look really closely here, that was not a trump. It says it on the logo. It's very snazzy. Now, I've kept the prices conveniently low because I don't want to spin a crazy profit from any of this. I just really want to see you guys out there wearing my t-shirts. That's just so exciting in itself. That's enough of a reward in itself. And a few have actually sold. I have sold quite a small handful of t-shirts already, which is mind-blowing because, again, I haven't really launched them as such. I kind of announced it on Instagram in my story and on my feed. But to actually release it now into the wild, I'm quite intrigued to see how far these t-shirts will go. So if you are considering it, just bear in mind that any profit that does come in goes directly straight back into feeding these monkeys. It doesn't go to pay for a week in Spain for me and the family. It literally goes back into feeding my axolotls and other ideas in regards to the build that's going to be happening outside. Oh yes, to the wife's horror. Now, another really exciting one that I've had to keep to myself for so long and I've been genuinely excited for is Pixel, everybody's favourite happy axolotl, will be making her debut in a children's storybook. This has been a brainchild of mine for so long. I have children, I read lots of stories, in particular lots of bedtime stories. And I thought to myself, these are a bit rubbish. I don't mean that in a horrible way, but these stories are rubbish. I want to go at that. I want to bring Pixel alive in a story, and that's what I've been working on. I was fortunate enough to have a friend and a follower on Instagram whose name's Justin. I'll leave all his details here and below. And he is a wizard, and I love his style, I love his take on things. And as soon as I seen his kind of take on the illustration side of things, I thought, I've got to ask him and approach him and see if he's interested. Thankfully, he was really excited about the ideas I had too, and we've both agreed that we're going to do this book as a completely non-profit, and all the profit that does come in is going to go directly to charity. So I'm looking at 2 charities. I won't name them just yet because I am still waiting to hear back from them to make sure they officially want to be part of this. And the money that does come in will go to helping conservation. So it's going to be a huge project, and I'm really genuinely excited about it. I'll leave a little picture right here so you can take a good look at how amazing Pixel looks as a cartoon character. It's so exciting. The story is officially written. The book is written. I writ it down and I tweaked it some more, I scrapped it, I started again and I wrote it again and I tweaked it a little bit more, and I'm so happy with the outcome. And I just know with Justin's profession and his professional touch, it's really going to come alive. I'm genuinely excited about it. Now, I'm not going to put a timestamp on this, but what I will say is it will be coming and it will be available on Amazon globally. It's just got to kind of build a little bit first. So this week's video, I wanted to talk about a true story. True story. This is something that I have touched upon in previous videos, but I want to kind of bring it to the forefront, and the importance that animals in particular, for me, axolotls, have in people's lives. So without further ado, let's talk about how axolotls saved my life. And that's not a clickbait either, it's actual fact. But before we dive too deep into this video, let's take a little look at my axolotls. Let's roll the beat. So humans have a wonderful relationship with many animals, in particular our pets. We grow bonds with them, we grow relationships with them like no other. Some people class them as family. I mean, I do myself. All my animals, to me, even the ones that go onto their forever homes, while they're under my umbrella and under my wing, shall we say, they're still part of my family. I raise them exactly how I'd raise my own. There's no like, nope, they're not pets. They are part of my family. I love them dearly, and I raise each and every one on that moral. What can animals actually do for us? A lot. A huge amount, and I can speak from experience on this. I'm sure those of you who have animals in the world have a unique bond with either a cat, a dog, a hamster, a rabbit, whatever it might be. You're going to have a unique bond with that animal. You're going to know that animal like nobody else, and that in itself is quite a unique relationship. For me, my axolotls genuinely saved my life. Now, I'm not trying to say that I collapsed and Pixel jumped out the tank and performed CPR and called an ambulance. I'm not trying to suggest anything like that, but they saved this. So some of you may already know the backstory to this, some of my original subscribers, but some of you who are new may not. So you may not realise I'm actually blind in my left eye, and I haven't got the best vision in my right. My left eye is completely gone. I can literally touch it without even seeing. I'm not going to, because that's disgusting. But I can literally touch my left eye without even seeing my finger coming towards it. I can kind of sense it, but I can't see it. It just lets a little bit of colour in. And my right eye, I can't see directly down, and I can't see my, is it peripheral vision they call it? Doing a bit of Beyonce single ladies now, I've committed. But yeah, I can't see out the side either. So what happened is, a long story made considerably shorter. A few years ago, I was at a charity event that I was attending, and I noticed after a couple of beers that I had this like squiggle. It was almost like a little worm that kind of formed in the back here of my vision, and I couldn't quite look at it. Every time I tried to look at it, it moved. And I thought nothing of it. I put it down. I'd had a really, really long time, a really hectic time with work. I was working stupid hours back then, stupid hours. and I was at a charity event with very little sleep, a few too many tipples, and I put it down to exhaustion. I woke up the next morning after the event and it was still there, but it was a bit more faded. So again, me being me, and a typical bloke, unfortunately I have to say it, I thought it'll just pass, it'll be fine, it'll figure itself out. It's just tiredness. Once you get a good night's sleep and you've got this beer out your system and you've recovered from the great fun that you've had at the charity event, it will correct itself. And it didn't. It got progressively worse. And this was right before Christmas. Right before Christmas. We were talking a matter of days. So I knew pretty much then that it was going to be an operation job. I knew it wasn't a pair of glasses and a pat on the back and away you go. I just had a feeling. Do you know when you just know? I had this really big feeling that something wasn't quite right. I didn't really want to kind of make a song and dance about it because I have children, I have a wife, I have a family, we had commitments, it was right near Christmas, and I didn't want to spoil the Christmas for everybody. Everyone was so excited for Santa Claus coming. I didn't want to spoil that, so I kept quiet. Completely the wrong thing to do. I kept quiet and I ignored it. It wasn't until just after Christmas I kind of went, right, I need to kind of get something done. I went to the opticians originally. Knowing full well it was, again, I knew full well it wasn't going to be a quick fix. I knew it was going to be a hospital job. I could just tell. I knew. I wasn't silly. I knew. And yeah, and lo and behold, I had your everyday eye test, and the optician kind of was checking my eye. He used a machine to begin with. And then he said, do you mind if I have a look a bit closer? I said, no, go for it. And he came a little bit closer, and then he kind of like panicked. Okay, I think what we need to do is we need to contact the hospital. And he could see he was panicking, and that panicked me, seeing the optician who looks at eyes all day, freaking out. I was like, what is he seeing that I haven't? And it really freaked me out. That was probably a terrible pun. But what has he seen that I haven't? And it came about that not long after that, I found out that I had a detached retina, which sounds fairly common. They are very, very common, but usually your retina detaches like that. The doctor at the hospital told me it's a bit like wallpaper paste, and your wallpaper falling off a wall, it'll fall that way. It won't just kind of go. Whereas mine, rather than do that, mine, he said it was almost like someone had set a fire in the middle of it, and it kind of reacted to the fire, and it kind of curled up on itself like a scrunched up piece of paper. So rather than that, mine did that. And it was, they'd hardly ever seen that if at all. One doctor had seen it once before, and another doctor had never seen it in his however many years in the profession. He'd never seen it. Now, the operation was quick. I was put to sleep for it because it was quite an intense surgery. And unfortunately, my sight never recovered. It never did. You might have been around to be part of that whole journey. I did document a lot of it on my older videos. So you probably know a bit of the backstory anyway. But unfortunately, that didn't recover. And it was a big thing to realise that I went from having two eyes to one eye. And it was scary. The world was scary. My brain, I'm a very happy-go-lucky sort of guy. I kind of wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm terribly guilty of it. And the sort of person, I'll go to a party, let's say, or a gathering, and you'll either love me or you'll be sick of me, but you'll never forget me. You'll remember me for the good or the bad. I'll either drive you crazy or I'll make you laugh all night long. That's just how I am. And I went from that to being this really shy, inward guy that I didn't want to leave the house. And it really put me in a bad place. My comfort zone became smaller and smaller and smaller. And then when I started to finally accept that this is what it was, this is my life, I can't dwell in this, I have to carry on. My kids need me, my wife needs me, my friends need me. And I had such a good support network around me, a very small support network, but a very good one, which I'm super honoured and blessed to have. You know who you are, I don't need to name you one by one, but you know who you were great and you kept me on track. And you must have had sleepless nights on my behalf, and I can only apologise for that. And then when I started to realise that I needed to kind of get back on track, I did. I started Frankie's Aquatics and things were going great. I had a collaboration with one of my favourite YouTubers and good friend, Gracie Lacey, now known as Gracie's Betters. An absolute diamond in the hobby. Think the world of her, I really do. And literally the day after that video went live, this eye started playing up. I was literally sat on the bed, replying to emails, and I seen this like bolt of light fly through my vision. And it scared me. I thought someone had flown past the window, and I kind of like, what the hell was that? And I was in a bit of a style, like a deer in the headlights sort of thing. And I was like, what was that? Shook it off, came downstairs, got the kettle on, trying to get me around what I just seen. And then I seen it again. And then I kind of realised it wasn't in the room or out the window. It was in my head and in my vision. I instantly got on the phone to the wife, told her what had gone on, and she was like, let's just see how it goes. But I was kind of like, I don't want to see how it goes. I need this. I need answers, and I need them quick. Now, I'd only been at the hospital 2 weeks previous to this. And the hospital was like, I ran the hospital, and my doctor was like, look, you were here a couple of weeks ago. He said, the chances are you'd probably run down, your blood pressure's probably out the window. He says, you probably run down and exhausted, and you're probably overthinking and worrying because you're only here a few weeks ago. You wouldn't really have time for this to happen again. Off to the hospital I go, and lo and behold, it's happening again, identically to how the left eye went. The doctor was panicking. He was like, right, let's not worry about why or anything right now. Let's just get the eye fixed because we don't want the same to happen with your left eye, with your right eye. So I was instantly sent in for surgery. Put to sleep again. The surgery, you can imagine I came out of my surgery completely blind because I couldn't see out of this eye, and this eye had just been operated on, and obviously it was all patched over. It was a very, very small world. My world and my surroundings went from everything I loved just to in my head. I could hear people go around me, which if anything just made me more anxious because I could hear people but I couldn't see them. And people were great. My kids were amazing. You guys were amazing. You sent me loads of nice emails wishing me all the best. And I was only, I'm not exactly a big timer now, but I only had like less than 200 subscribers at the time, and you guys went above and beyond. To the point that I remember sitting in my bedroom crying happy tears the night it all happened after the surgery, because my daughters printed your comments off and read them to me. And yeah, I'm getting teary now just thinking about it. It was emotional. I didn't cry in front of the children, but when they'd finished reading and they gave me the hugs and kisses and went to bed, I broke down like a baby. It was a world I had to come to terms with, and it was one that I wasn't ready to come to terms with. I only just got used to having one eye. Never mind the thought of maybe, just maybe, it failing again. Now, I don't want to make this a whole poor me get the violin out kind of a video. I just want to talk about the importance of where my life went from there. I came home, I got my head around it eventually. Thank the good heavens above, my eyesight did return slightly in my right eye. It's not great, things are more stretched now. I have a bit of an inside joke with people. Please don't take this offensively, but I say to people, I don't see fat people, I see tall people, because people are not... Anyone that's short and tubby looks tall and thin, because my eye kind of stretches them. It's so weird, it's really hard to explain. I've tried to explain it the best I can to people that are close to me, but it's really hard to explain. But people are really tall, things are really stretched. The Instagram box, which I know from experience is the perfect square, is stretched now. It's like an oblong. It's weird, it's so weird. And then I had to sit down with myself and my family and talk real with them. It was a case of, right now you need to recover. But then all I could think about, which I always do, even now, I think about the next step. What's going to happen next? Where am I going to be in 6 months' time? Where am I going to be in 6 weeks' time? And the realization was maybe all of this would have to go, because if I lose my sight, I can't do what I'm doing. No two ways about it. I can't do it. And I can't expect anybody else to pick up that baton and carry it on. It wouldn't be fair for my wife, who works really hard outside of this house, to come back home and do all of this just because I like axolotls. It's not fair for anybody. I can't expect anybody to pick up that torch and carry that on for me. It would just be a very sad day for me, and I have to come to terms with the fact that things would have to be significantly different. But then that's when things started to improve for me, and that's thanks to my friends and family that were around me. But really important part of that was my axolotls. I realised I couldn't mope about in bed. I couldn't feel sorry for myself and lick my wounds. I had to kind of get up, dust myself off, because there was little water sausages right behind me right now and upstairs that needed me. They needed me there. They needed feeding. They needed water changing. They needed attention. And without that, they would fail. And I'd be failing them in the process by not providing that for them. And that, alongside obviously my children, really, really thrived me on and really pushed me to kind of shake off the cobwebs, shake off the sympathy, and kind of find my feet again. And that's what I'm trying to stress today. This is what I'm trying to stress to everybody. Animals play a ridiculous part in our lives. Some people see a pet as just a pet. Other people see a pet as part of the family. And I think it's these people that get it. I really do. My axolotls, if it wasn't for them, I don't know where I'd be. I don't mean to sound terribly morbid, I'm not saying anything too drastic, but my mindset, I don't know where I'd be without my axolotls. It was them, people say, you do so much for your axolotls, they're so lucky to have you. And I just think to myself, you don't realise how lucky I am to have them. And I'm getting teary-eyed again. But it's true, it's not a one-way street, I'm very lucky to have them. And without them, I'd have probably felt very sorry for myself for a very long time. And Lord knows where that would have landed me, I don't know. I don't know. Oh, you're gonna make me cry. You're gonna make me cry. Dry your eyes, big fella. The whole purpose of this video today was just to make people understand. Oh, I know a lot of people do understand. A lot of people get it. A lot of people have very similar stories, no doubt. But for me, my axolotls most certainly saved me. They saved me from a very, very dark place. And I'm super grateful for them all. And not only the axolotls, the people that are within this community. You guys are some of the most caring, considerate keepers on the face of the earth. The aquatics hobby in itself is beautiful. The axolotl keepers, my God, you guys have hearts of gold. You really do. You're above and beyond. The people, the leaders, the pioneers in this industry are wonderful, wonderful people. And what I love about this is I haven't met any kind of nasty competition yet, where people kind of go, this is my patch, get off my patch. There's been none of that. I mean, for example, if someone approaches me looking for a particular type of axolotl and I can't provide, I will happily recommend another breeder, reputable breeder that can obviously provide that axolotl to that customer. It's not about, no, I don't know anybody, I'm not going to tell you who else. And you guys in the comments each week keep coming back and leaving lovely feedback, and you really digest my videos and really, really pay attention and listen. And really have such a kind and caring heart to just reach out and leave nice comments every week. I mean, you're going to get the odd troll, you're going to get the odd thumbs down. Thumbs down, right, drives me mad. But the majority, it's just beautiful, happy train of thoughts. It's like I always use, when I'm messaging people back, a lot of people get a bit weirded out because I do it to blokes and everything. I'll put a smiley face, a blue love heart, a star and a rainbow. And a little people go, what's with all the emojis? What's she all about? And I'll tell you now, the water, the heart, the blue heart represents my love for aquatics. It's blue, water. The star means you can reach the stars if you shoot high enough. Sounds really cheesy. Look terrible on the t-shirt, I'll give you that. The smiley face, because I'm always smiling, or at least most of the time. And then the rainbow represents the community. It represents you guys. It represents you guys, the axolotl community, the axolotl keepers. You're an unbelievable bunch, and I'm so proud to be part of it all. Now, there's been numerous stories of the connection between an animal and its human, or a keeper and its pet. Animals have an unbelievable connection to those who look for it. I always say put 110% into everything you do, especially when it comes to your animals, because if you give your animals 110%, I guarantee you now they'll give you 120 back. They are so selfless, they are amazing, and axolotls in particular are my absolute life. I love them so dearly. I have such a good bond with Pixel. I'm not afraid to say it, she's my absolute favourite. I love her so much, I want to squish her little face. And I'm so blessed to have that. And had I have just popped her in a tank and just fed her every couple of days and just kind of changed a bit of water out when it looked a bit murky and didn't pay her much attention, I technically have no sort of relationship with her. It would just be an animal stuck in a tank. And where would I be? Would I appreciate that? Would I like to look at that every now and again?
Would you just look at it?
Where would that lead me? But now I put time and effort into my animals, in particular my axolotls again. And you will absolutely get out more than you put in. You've just got to put it in the right places, and that sounds terribly rude. I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it. Oh, I've done it now. I'm gonna get ready. I'm not gonna live that down in the comments, am I? Anyway, red face, be gone. So I hope this video has found you well this week. I just want to say a massive thank you again. You guys are amazing. You always keep this channel alive and active. And we also hit 2,000 subscribers this week, which is again phenomenal. I think I'm sitting at about 2,040 subscribers as this video is being recorded, which just blows my little mind. It really does. It really does. But thank you all so much for doing so. Now, if you haven't done so already, please be sure to hit that like button. It just lets me know that you're enjoying the content that I'm producing. Also hit the subscribe button and also ding that notification bell. That'll keep you in the loop when I upload, which is currently every Monday at 1 o'clock GMT. And until next time, ta-ta for now. Woohoo! I told myself just before I did this video, I told myself, I says, Frankie, don't you be crying. We all know you how much of a soppy sock you are, don't you be crying. I did, didn't I? I let a few tears out again. Listen, I'm the sort of guy that cries at movies. What can I say? I'm a soppy sock. I'm a soppy sock, a self-proclaimed soppy sock. Not a sloppy sock, that's disgusting. A soppy sock, thank you.
Oh!